Hey guys, welcome back to Adventure Camping here, Tactical Nut, with another knife review and demo. Today we're going to be talking about the cold Steel Bushman. Alright, back away from the camera and it needs to be close. Alright, now, this has been very popular. I've had it for a while. As you can see, it comes by cold steel. It's, the sheath is sort of like Kydex, but they call it Securex. As you can see here, locks into place, almost no noise, locks securely in there. I do like that. Getting it out, you just got to push your thumb back here, pops out real easily. As you can see, this has been getting some love. Belt clip. I do like this kind of clip because it can go over your belt and your belt doesn't have to run through it and take off your belt to take it off. So that is pretty cool. It does come with the fire steel. As I really like that feature on a sheath. This is the only one I have that has it. I want to probably eventually get more sheaths that have something like that because it is very handy. You know, you're not going to lose it. There's that fire steel and the knife, neither one are going to come out. So that's pretty cool. Some specs on the knife: 7-inch blade. It's very thin, as you can see, and it is also one solid piece of steel. It's made out of what they call SK5. There's your Bushman logo, cold steel, and it's an extremely strong steel. I was watching a demo on Cold Steel's website, and they took this knife and put it in a vise, and they could bend it to like 90 degrees. I mean, it was absolutely insane how far this thing would go, and still didn't break. The only complaint I had when I first got it is the knife, the edge wasn't all that sharp. It wasn't horrible by any means, but definitely wasn't nearly as sharp as I anticipated. I was able to put a really good edge on it, and all I've done is touch it up a few times since. But as you can see, since it is one piece of steel, it's got a hole there, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. But it's very slick. And as you know from any of my knife reviews, I don't modify any knife when I get it because I'm going to use it as they intended it to be used. Now they did this hollow so you can have a couple of options. One, you could pack this full of survival gear, you know, tape up one end or do whatever you got to do, but put stuff in here so you can carry extra stuff with you. And it's also so you can put a stick in here and use it like a spear. I've tried various things, varying levels of success, but we'll start with, let's just use it first. We'll use it for some batoning and stuff like that, and then talk about it a little more. Now I was just chopping up this wood you see here with machete, Gerber machete that I was reviewing. So this one was already split in half. We'll go ahead and baton through it, and then try some other stuff. But since I already had it split, I figured, yeah, might as well start with this, right? Stick. As you can see already, this is one of my major complaints with this thing. Since it is so slick, getting a good grip on it sometimes it's a little difficult. Split right through a nut. Alright, see? I mean, splits really well. I mean, so if you're going to process some wood, this knife is a good choice for splitting. It's full flat grind, or almost a full flat grind. There's very little bevel in that. I mean, it is there, but the coating has been great. It's been durable. I mean, there's a little bit starting to come off here and here, but all blade coatings come off. None of them are none are going to last forever. But as you can see, I mean, this splits with no problem. This is a hardwood. I do not know the kind. But yeah, I mean, it goes through this stuff with no problem. Now, one thing that I like out of any knife that I'm going to use, if you want, because this is definitely supposed to be considered a survival knife, is I'd like to be able to chop. Even though a lot of knives aren't intended for that, if you were in a survival situation, this is a Bushman, so if you were in the jungle, in my opinion, it should be able to do it. Now, this is a very lightweight knife for what it is and for the size. So let's just see how that goes. You can tell by the way this knife is landing and the way I keep adjusting my grip. It's because it keeps spinning in my hand. It's just a little nerve-wracking. And it is a solvable problem. And you can put some hockey tape on there, tennis racket tape, something that's sticky, would allow for a more comfortable and usable grip. But it's I mean, this thing is sliding in my hand. It either slides forward if I put a really strong grip on it. It doesn't twist, but it'll start to slide forward and backwards in my hand. So, made it through that. Man, I broke it there off at the end, but if I was in a survival situation, I'm gonna break the sticks as early as I can so I can save my blade and my edge as long as possible. So it chops, and it does it fairly well, especially for the weight, because I was able to put a really good edge on it, so it bites in there really good. But that slides around in your hand like crazy, and to be honest with you, I mean, personally, I don't like that a whole lot. There's also another problem, where did I put the sheath here, that I found out pretty quickly, and is if you have a lot of experience with knives or any knives that are coated, see what it's not doing? Oh, there goes one. I can get a spark, but man, I'm really bearing down on it, you know, and all the coating was taken off, so you know I am smart enough to do that. But if I've got to put this much force drawing it backwards to keep the fire still steady and to not blow a bunch of wind onto whatever it is you're going to do, you can't do it. You have to be able to bear down and really strike, and you get a little bit of sparks. I mean, there's not a whole lot coming off with this, but that's what blade coating does, is it prevents that from being able to spark. Now if you use a blade, you know, no issue, but if you're in a survival situation, you know, there's a ton of people out there that'll be like, never use the blade, you know, because you don't want to wear out that edge, but you would have to. Other than that, you're going to have to sand off some of this coating in order to get it to strike really well. So like I said, I don't modify it when I get it and I test it and use it, because I want to use it as they intended it. So if you're going to give me a fire steel with the blade, make sure the blade can strike the fire steel, or the back of the blade can strike the fire steel, because I mean, you're kind of already putting somebody at a loss in a survival situation when their only choice is to, you know, use the knife edge in order to strike the fire steel. Let's give a little counter example. Another knife in testing and review. Loving this one so far. See? Oops. Well, this one's not doing it that well either. Maybe this is just not an awesome fire steel. Well, that's a little better. A little less effort, anyway. But I turned it that way. You know, you're doing okay. I don't know. Either it's just a low quality fire steel, or yeah, wait, I always got multiple knives on me, so let's just keep trying here. Kershaw Shuffle, tested, reviewed, loved. Now this one works better. The knife I was just showing you, AUS 8 steel, this is a 8CR13 MOV. That's doing a little better, but you see there's not a whole lot of sparks coming off of that. I mean, it's really short too, so they could have given you at least a little longer fire steel, but you know, is what it is. Now, as far as the price goes for this cold Steel Bushman, I got on eBay for 20 bucks. I think it typically goes for 30 on a lot of different websites. Sometimes you can find it for 25. Most of the time, the $20 one now, it has the Kadura sheath and not the Secure-X sheath with the fire steel. But as you can see, there's already some problems with this setup. You know, the blade's not striking the fire steel. The fire steel is really short. It does appear that this would take and hold a longer fire steel. I don't know exactly how deep that goes. I haven't attempted to put another one in it, but I don't know. My opinion, they could have done better with that. Now, I'm going to try to find a stick here and shove it in there to use it like a spear. And then I'll get back to you and we'll see how that goes. Alright, so found a stick I want to try and use. I'm going to try to shape up this end down here and make it small enough to fit in here. So it'll also show you some of the capabilities of this. Kind of round it out some. Alright, so there we go. I don't have a screw to bolt it in there, but I figured. Alright, now you have a spear. Now I'm going to try maybe like use this like a little hatchet or an axe. See, maybe if this will make chopping a little better. Maybe you need a screw. Yes, I'm not going to edit that out, because in a survival situation, more than likely, you're not going to have a screw with you. That's just not how it works. But, you know, most people aren't that prepared. Let's try this vine. See if we can use like a little hatchet. Woo! See? You don't want that happening. Let me try thinning out this part a little more. Let this tip in. Go further up in there. There we go. I'll see if this will get in there. Alright. Let's give this a shot now. Man, that's not bad. It's, you know, this thing is going to be vibrating a lot because it's a vine. And wow, see? If you're going to carry this knife, you almost have to carry a nail, or you're going to have to carry a screw. If you're carrying a screw, you're going to need a multi-tool to be able to grind it in there better. when I got this knife, I was really excited about it. I saw some great reviews on her, and I really wanted to love this knife right out the box. And in some ways I do like it. I mean, it splits wood really well. It will do, you know, as you can see here, it'll shave your wood. You can do your fire sticks with it, or your feather sticks, sorry. You can split wood, you can shave, it will chop, but I just can't bring myself to enjoy using this knife. I mean, it's, as it is, out of the box, if they did not provide a knife or a nail or a screw, this is fairly almost unsafe to use because of how slick the handle is. It twists in your hand like crazy, or it moves depending on the kind of wood. Like, I can get a little bit better grip hitting this softer wood, but on the hardwoods, man, the blade was just twisting in my hands like crazy. So it's almost like you have to modify this knife out of the box in order to get it to really do well as it is. I mean, it went through that pretty well. My hand wasn't twisting as much as I was saying. But if you don't live in an area where there's much softwood, you're kind of at a disadvantage already. The blade spine is a good spine on it. Great, flat, sharp spine, but it's coated, so now it's not going to strike your fire steel, or not efficiently anyway. I had to put so much pressure onto that one, like you almost have to get another fire steel. I mean, it is a fairly low price point. So, I mean, I guess some ways you can say that you can't expect the world, but it's a great steel. It has a lot of potential, but I just think out of the factory they need some kind of grip placed on this handle. When I get a knife, I don't like to modify them. I mean, I know a lot of people are really into customizing everything that they have, but for me, you know, knife companies should be able to produce a knife that is usable right out of the box and shouldn't have to be modified, and this one kind of has to. It's durable, it's strong, it's a lot of things that a knife should be, but just a couple of areas that have made me really dislike it. I will kind of give it a last chance. I'm going to buy some hockey or tennis racket tape, and put it on there, use it again, see how I like it. But as is, not a big fan. I'll do another video once I've modified it, and you know, see here, you can do all your different cross cuts. You know, like I said, pull this so I don't have to worry about moving the blade. Do it in front of my leg. You know, you can carve. Feather stick. It does it. It doesn't do it in a fun manner or exciting manner. It just doesn't. This just doesn't excite me at all. I'm sorry. It's just kind of my opinion. Other people may differ, but I can't say that I would recommend this one out of the box. I may recommend it with some modifications after I try that, but as is, I have to give it a thumbs down. I do. I wish I didn't. I like a lot of Cold Steel products, but sorry, Cold Steel. This is not going to be in my Hall of Fame. This is not going to be one of my favorites. I am going to modify it, just kind of give it a second chance. I'll do an updated video when I do, but there's so much potential here that is missed. I mean, for a few dollars more, I wouldn't mind if you included maybe a little survival kit with a nail, or you already have some kind of grip placed on here. Even if it was tennis racket tape, who cares? You know, it's comfortable, it would be grippy, and it's not going to slide around your hand, because I'm sorry, if you're in the wild or you're camping, hiking, backpacking, you're in a survival situation, a bug out situation, you don't want your tools to potentially harm you. easily, and this one I feel like it easily would. I mean, none of my other knives twist in my hand no matter what I do with them. None of them slip back and forth this way as I'm chopping or using it, whatever, like this one does, because it's so slick. And I don't know what else to say, but be prepared, have fun. If you get one of these, expect some modifications. Alright, have a good day.